and you've now heard the broad outlines of what the Tech Belt is. The goal, of course, is to get to the point where anywhere in this country, when you hear someone say the Silicon Valley, you know where that is. And you hear someone say the Research Triangle, you know where that is. We want to get to the point where no matter where you are in this country, someone says the Tech Belt, you know where that is. And that's what we're talking about. And you are a key to making that happen. But I want to talk about the steps, the tangible results that we've got to this effort in only a couple of years that we've put this together, just to give you an idea of the support that we already have in Ohio and Pennsylvania, and give you some concrete examples of organizations in Cleveland and Pittsburgh that are successfully collaborating. And in 2007, the Pittsburgh Life Sciences Greenhouse and Bioenterprise in Cleveland, as Congressman Ryan talked about, joined forces to leverage existing resources of both regions to attract greater levels of bioscience funding for our region. And we're going to talk about what happened there. They now meet quarterly. They get together and they exchange information on new biotech startups and opportunities that exist throughout the entire region with world-renowned medical, educational, economic development, and industrial institutions. The Life Sciences Greenhouse and Bioenterprise conduct joint meetings with venture capitalists to attract venture capital back to our region. And they're not parochial about it. If someone from Pittsburgh knows a venture capitalist and can point them to somewhere in Cleveland where maybe it's a better fit, they do that. That's the kind of relationship that they have. And they've introduced countless companies to one another along the two borders of our states. This has resulted in more than 20 collaborations thus far. And just as an example, MedRespond, which is an online healthcare company in the Pittsburgh area, is now crossing into Ohio to work with Treatment Online, Within 3, ProEd Communications, and another Pittsburgh company called Blacktown NC is developing a spinal rehabilitation table and working with the Cleveland Clinic. And that's what's great about this partnership is we're taking advantage of the assets that we both have. Instead of competing against each other, we're working together and competing with each other against the rest of the country and the rest of the world. Because we're not competing just with Boston or Austin or Seattle or San Francisco. We're competing with Shanghai and Brazil and the European Union. And by pulling together and harnessing everything that this region has to offer and working together, that's leading to victory. So from wound management to clinical trials to polymers, more and more collaborations are emerging in the Tech Belt. And these collaborations yield faster company growth, more innovation, greater venture capital interest, and ultimately more jobs, which is a win-win scenario for both Pittsburgh and Cleveland and everywhere in between. And another example, some of whom are in this room right now, of collaboration is Jumpstart Cleveland and Innovation Works in Pittsburgh. And these are two, as many of you know, nonprofit organizations that help entrepreneurs translate good ideas into successful businesses. They invest in new companies, help companies attract additional funding, and provide business expertise. For years, Jumpstart and Innovation Works have shared their databases of investors to enlarge the investment pool of portfolios that companies can access. They've shared their expert content, $4 million in investment in just 2.5 years of working together. Ohio and Pennsylvania are now among the leading Midwest states in attracting new healthcare investments, but it doesn't stop there. There are over 80 national venture funds investing in these biomedical companies, but we have 30 of them that have located their offices right here in our region. Cleveland and Pittsburgh are now ranked second and third national in healthcare investment. And while we're still behind Minnesota in the Midwest region, we're catching up. It's $331 million for Minnesota, $315 million for our region. So we're making gains. And this investment, as you all know, is vital to our economic growth, our jobs, the brain gain that Congressman Ryan talked about, and a higher standard of living for all of us. In fact, new jobs requiring science, engineering, and technical training is expected to grow by more than quadruple the national average over the next few years of job growth. In the biosciences alone, there are over 800 companies employing more than 25,000 people in our regions. A total of 7 million people live and work in the Tech Belt region. And we can tap into this opportunity. This is a great opportunity that we have. And Congressman Ryan and I want to do everything we can in Congress to promote the Tech Belt and tap the fertile environment for high-tech innovation. Just as an example of something that I'm doing, and the reason we're good partners on this is Tim serves on the Appropriations Committee, I serve on the Transportation, Small Business, and the Labor Committee, and we're trying to tap all the sources we can to change federal policy at the national level in a way that will help our regions capitalize on the expertise that's already here. So I'm working to secure additional funding for the Tech Belt Biosciences Initiative that helps move innovative business concepts and technologies from the thought process into the marketplace. And together we're working to access the enormous gap that exists between the amount of funding entrepreneurs need to launch new businesses and the amount of funding that's actually provided. Now, just by one estimate, I'm on the Small Business Committee, and my subcommittee that I chair has oversight over the SBA. The SBA leaves $60 billion in unmet capital needs annually. $60 billion in identified needs that's not awarded. That's something we need to change. And to fix this problem, I intend to reintroduce the Small Business Investment Act. And this bill makes it easier for small businesses to attract the venture capital that they need to move forward. Because if you receive, under current law, if you receive venture capital funding or angel investment, and you are one out of 15 small businesses, biotech and life science firms, that are able to make that next step and grow and create jobs and hire people and move to the next level, you at that point need a boost in many cases. Well, the SBA, under their SBIR program, makes it you're not qualified to get SBIR funding because you receive private investment. It's their view, well, if you're stable enough and secure enough to have received that investment, what do you need the government for? You don't need us, the SBA. You've done it. But you know, the people in this room, when you get to that point and you've spent every penny, every resource, every amount of capital you have in getting to the point where you're just ready to make it, that's when you need to push. And that's when the SBA needs to come in and help you out. So my legislation doesn't give you an advantage, doesn't say you're a preferred person to lend to, but it doesn't disqualify you automatically either. You can still qualify for SBIR funding. We got that passed. That was one of the 24 we had passed through the House. It didn't quite get to through the Senate. We are very hopeful we'll get that done, and that's going to have a tangible, positive impact on western Pennsylvania and eastern Ohio in a way that I don't think anywhere else in the country is going to see the same benefit because of the education, the science and engineering, the biotech, the life sciences assets that we have that nobody else has as a group. Now, having served on the Small Business Subcommittee, as I talked about, I'm working to modernize small businesses and the Innovation Research Program in a way that's going to benefit us. Congressman Ryan and I are working on having a tangible link between Pittsburgh and Cleveland through a high-speed rail corridor so we can have people in the long term that work in Youngstown or Warren or Sharon and can commute to Pittsburgh or Cleveland and vice versa. And that's something that in the long term is going to benefit our region. So as you can see, we're doing our best to put policies in place that will help local companies spur the Tech Belt ideas that we're talking about. But again, in closing, this is not something that we view the federal government in taking the lead on. We're conveners. We want to put people in the room and talk about this. And we had a meeting 2 years ago at YSU. We're going to have another one in Pittsburgh. I count this as one of those meetings. We want people like you to understand we're serious about this. I didn't have to come here. I represent Pittsburgh. But I came here because I want to promote this idea. This is something that I want you to understand we're committed to. We want to be partners in this effort, and we want to move forward because our region has fallen on hard times, but our region has assets that nowhere else in the country has. And together, by working together, we can move forward quicker and faster than anywhere else in the country, and we'll recover faster from the economic downturn that we're in. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for inviting me, and I look forward to spending some time with you. Thanks.